Sup Bros, it's Terry, and I got the idea just to try and, I'm drunk right now, and I wanted to talk, so I asked my bros on Twitter what I should talk about, and, TheWolfsWord, aka Naskatani Kekistani, suggested that I talk about Amy Schumer. So, you got me some whiskey right here. I believe I'm gonna look this up. I'm outside, just so I don't wake up anyone. So I'm going to Google this real quick, because it's 17 something. Year Kentucky joined the Union. 1774. Wait, no, sorry. 1792. It's 1792 whiskey. I got some of this yesterday. My first time having it. I had a little bit last night and a little bit earlier today, but you know what I mean. It's the first time I've had it. It's pretty sharp, actually. My normal go-to whiskey is Bullet, as far as bourbon and rye, but the guy at the liquor store suggested I try this, and I'm always up for trying new whiskey, so I'm not like a whiskey connoisseur or anything, but I do enjoy me some whiskey, and this is a bit sharper than what I'm used to, so. But yeah, Amy Schumer. I'm not really that familiar with her. I don't listen to stand-up comedians very much. It's really not my kind of thing, but I've heard a whole lot about her. For example, I've heard so much about how she's just not funny and everything. And as I've watched a few videos about this, her new recent routine where she pretty much compares her vagina to the smell of barnyard animals, which is kind of offensive to me, really. You know me. But aside from that, I haven't really seen anything that she's... Oh, I've seen the Budweiser commercials she's in, and those were cringy as fuck, but any commercial that involves political correctness tries to connect political correctness and humor is going to be totally cringy, bros, so it's totally understandable that. But yeah, I think the extent of my exposure to her, I think, is that. Plus, I was watching a video by either Mr. Mediocre or Chris Ray Gun about her that was done months ago. And he played some clips from her with her self-deprecating humor about pointing out the hypocrisy of certain things. And actually, that was kind of funny. I have to admit, the few clips of his video that I saw of her were pretty funny. The entire gangbang skit, that was, I have to admit, that was kind of funny. But I do think it is 100% hypocritical of her that, one second. Sorry, bros. I do find it 100% hypocritical of her to do all that self-deprecating humor where she talks bad about herself. And then on Netflix, when people said she's not funny, gets all offended about it. Because her entire act, as far as I've seen, I mean, aside from the Budweiser commercials, because that's totally different. Her entire shtick is the fact that she's always talking bad about herself. But It's okay when she talks bad about herself, but when other people say she's not funny, that's a problem. And the thing is, I mean, and honestly, if you're a comedian and you have to say that anyone who boos is going to be thrown out, you shouldn't be a comedian. I really think that. I mean, I saw a clip in someone else's video where she was literally telling the audience, if you boo or hiss, then you're going to get thrown out. And I'm like, seriously? That's like an occupational hazard if you're a stand-up comedian. You're going to get booed. If someone doesn't find you funny, if enough people don't find you funny, they're going to tell you. And she's totally lucky that she does not live in a society where is socially acceptable to throw things at the stage. Because, I watched this video. It was one of those, Today I Learned videos about where clapping came from. And the answer to that is pretty much no one really knows. It's been an aspect of watching theater for over thousands of years. But the guy talked about how up until like the 1800s, and he cited Wagner as one of the bros who kind of started discouraging it. He wasn't the only one, but it's just kind of interesting that Wagner, who was very much a Nazi supporter, was one who told people to stop clapping in the middle of his performances. Sorry, you can't help but have Nazi stuff on the brain nowadays. But yeah, but apparently, especially with Mozart, people would clap in the middle, and Mozart and Liszt would repeat whatever segment of their piece they were on. They would repeat over and over the part where they were getting applauded on, so people could just hear it more and more. They would play to the audience. Whatever the audience reacted to, they would play to it. And because audience participation was actually a mainstream thing prior to the 1800s. Or I might be getting the dates somewhat wrong with this. But, I mean, when people went to the theater, they would go halfway to see what members of the audience would do when Shakespeare was being played on stage. That was half the fun of going to the theater. And apparently Liszt, Francis Liszt, was kind of the classical version of a pop star, because he would shake his hair and stuff like that, and whip his hair and everything, and repeat sections that people applauded and stuff like that. And I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, that would have been. You don't think about that about bros from that time, classical music bros from that time. You don't think about that. You think everything stuffy and everyone's quiet and stuck up, and you only clap when at the end of the thing. But no, people clapped in the middle, and the artists played up to that. But at the same time, during that time, it was perfectly socially acceptable to throw things at the stage if you didn't like what was on the stage. I mean, you see that trope in American animations, like Looney Tunes and stuff like that, but by the time Looney Tunes came along, that was not something that you would see if you went to stages. Well, actually, probably, I don't know about vaudeville, but professional, like high class society, you wouldn't see that. But if Amy Schumer lived during that time, and she went on stage and put on an unfunny performance, I think she would have probably most definitely had a few tomatoes or rotten vegetables thrown at her. boos and hisses would be the least of her worries now. But I think she does have some, at the same time, I do think she does have some funny stuff, like the stuff I saw on that one video by, I can't remember off the top of my head if it was Mr. Mediocre, Chris Ray Gun. I'm 80% sure it was Chris Ray Gun who did the video on it. Some of her stuff was actually kind of funny. No, like I said, I haven't actually seen too much of her stuff. But I do think it's 100% hypocritical that if you're going to do nothing but self-deprecating humor, that you don't get to complain when people don't like your comedy. Because if your entire shtick is, oh, I'm such an awkward person, or I'm such a whatever, and talking down about yourself, that when other people talk down about you, that you should get all up in arms about it. That's just stupid, bros. It doesn't make sense to me. It seriously just does not make sense. If you can base an entire comedy routine off of how negative, how socially awkward or whatever you are, when people talk about that not being funny, because the core aspect of self-deprecating humor is humility. You recognize your faults and you play them up for laughs because you recognize them as faults in yourself, but you're fine with that, and you're fine with them being faults. The key to true self-deprecating humor is recognizing your faults and learning to laugh at them, and inviting people to laugh at them with you. And so when that is your entire shtick, which as far as I understand is Amy Schumer's shtick, it's totally hypocritical for her to take offense at people not liking her comedy. That totally undermines her entire shtick, and I totally understand why people don't find her funny anymore if she has that type of attitude towards it. And I hope that she can learn from it, I genuinely learn from it, and change her act to reflect her attitude about herself, because that's what comedy is. If you're going to use yourself in personal experience in comedy, you have to be comfortable with yourself. And if you're going to take offense at people not liking you, making fun of you, then you need to change your act so that you're saying stuff that you're comfortable for other people to make fun of. Seriously, bros. It's not that Amy Schumer, bro, is just, I think her ego is getting in the way of her own comedy. I don't think you can be effective as an overly self-conscious comedian. I don't. I think it is 100% counterintuitive if you are overly self-conscious, to the point where you can make fun of yourself, but no one else can make fun of you. The key to self-deprecating humor is to be able to play any of your faults off as to laugh at your faults. But if someone makes fun of you, are making fun of your own faults. But if you're not okay with someone else making fun of your faults, that's just dumb. I know I've repeated myself a few times by now, but honestly, I'm not that familiar with Amy Schumer's comedy. If I've seen her in a movie, I'm absolutely horrible. I'm absolutely terrible with names of actors and actresses in movies. So unless I've seen them a whole lot, like Scarlett Johansson is an actress I really like in movies, and I know her name. I can recognize Brad Pitt if he's in a movie, and Tom Hanks. I can recognize him. Or yeah, some people that I've seen numerous times, I'll know, but I'm just bad with names in general, even among bros I know. So, actor bros and actress bros, I will not know their names unless I've seen them in a whole lot and I really like their performance. So, I probably have seen her in other things, but I just don't remember. I don't watch Saturday Night Live. Like I said, I'm not that big with stand-up comics. It's not really my thing. But yeah, I think she's a total hypocrite for what she's doing. And she should learn to laugh at herself more than other people laugh at her. She should just learn how to laugh off people laughing at her. Or booing at her. Not just, taking offense at it and saying, oh, I am just driven by the hate. No. If you have to come out and say that you're driven by the hate's getting to you. You don't just say, I don't care, to hate. You don't actively say that. Coming out and making a public declaration of how much you don't care about the criticism you're giving is giving in to the criticism you're giving. It's just like, Taylor Swift did an entire song and dance about how much she didn't care about something. That is an awful lot of effort to put into something you don't care about. And that's what Amy Schumer is doing with her interviews about how much she doesn't care and how much she's being driven by all the hate that she's getting, all the alt-right Nazi hate, even though the fact that some of her own fans are former fans are probably saying this too. If you don't care about something, you ignore it. You don't say anything about it unless it actually impairs your ability to do stuff. That's the thing. If you truly don't care about something, you just brush it off. You shake, like Taylor Swift's song says, you shake it off. But you don't say anything. You just go on. Pretend that person didn't say anything and go on with your day. You could even possibly say, good day, sir. Or treat them extra politely. Or something like that. I mean, feminists are all about taking the high road. Or all the social justice warriors are all about supposedly taking the high road. But they don't. They double down and get themselves dirty in the mud. They mud wrestle like no other. Pigs would be jealous of how much they mud wrestle. And the thing is, the pigs enjoy it. I've known me some pigs in my life, and they're quite content to mud wrestle. And they just enjoy the ride. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say. If you have any, if any of you bros have any ideas for any more drunken ramblings for me, I would love to hear them, and I will try. If you like this, then I'll make more of this of a thing. And maybe I'll try and have a different drink each time, so I can recommend that. I don't know. If you don't like it, I won't do it anymore. It's simple as that. Let me know what you think. Thanks, bros. Peace, love, Taurus.